Hey traders, welcome back to another video. So let's talk about how do I define a good trader. So something that I always say within our trade club is a good trader is a good problem solver. A consistently profitable trader is someone who just consistently fixing problems, consistently fine-tuning their edge. That's it. So most of you might think, once I become profitable, I'm set for life. Like I can just use the exact same strategy, the exact same entry model, exit management, trade management, and I'll be profitable for my entire life. But the reality is there are times where we have to fine tune some of our edge, some of our patterns, especially depending on the market condition. Because market condition 3 years ago compared to right now, they're different. So as the market is ever changing, the only thing we can do as a trader is to make sure that we keep journaling our trades and we make sure that we fine tune them to fit the market condition. Because remember, we're not here to fight against the market, we're here to trade with the flow. That's it. So I'll give you one example. So let's say today you are, let's say you're trading a double top. And this strategy has been working very well from 2020 to 2023. You will realize that, hey, things has been going so smooth for the past, 3 years. But from 2023 to 2024, all of a sudden you realize the pattern's not working. That means back then maybe your expectancy is, let's say 50 R per year trading this pattern. Right now you're trading the exact same thing and you have a negative yield. You're losing money. So sometimes things like this happen. It doesn't mean the strategy is it should be completely abandoned. No. A lot of times it could be, maybe from 2020 to 2023 the market conditions been pretty clean, right? We have a very defined support and resistance level. We have price clearly bouncing off key level and it start reversing. But from 2023 to 2024, maybe market does a lot more sweeps. So the problem is not the strategy itself. The problem is actually the entry model. And here goes back to our topic, why profitable trading is all about problem solving. So I'll give you more example. So put strategy aside, let's talk about managing overtrading. Traders who overtrade normally also have problems dealing with over risking. So overtrading is essentially over risking because the main reason why you overtrade is because you don't have criteria. You don't actually have an edge. You don't have a path selection or filtering process that helps you to identify what's a good trade, what's a bad trade, under what situation are you allowed to re-enter a position, under what situation are you not allowed to take any more trade. So these are some of the things that you really have to question yourself. For example, I'll branch out a few things. Under what condition are you allowed to trade? That's the first point. Second point, under what circumstance are you allowed to re-enter? Most of the times, traders don't deal with over risking on each position. So the most basic thing that you hear online is, risk a static 1% per trade. That is almost the most basic thing. You will get to a level where you're more advanced, when you have more experience, you build more intuition, you have an edge. You need to have a grading system. And a grading system is something that allows you to risk more on the really high probable setups. Some of you listening to this, you might disagree because you think, the high quality setup could be wrong as well. Yes, it is. But the key thing is, how do you know what's your A game? How do you know what's the A plus setup that gives you a higher chance of success? if you were to ask any of the highly profitable trader out there, the elite trader who's trading at the institutional level, trading at the prop desk, they'll always tell you, I become profitable because I know what's my A plus setup. So if you're currently someone who's been who hits a ceiling, and let's say you've been making a good 4-5 figures a year, you're trying to have the breakthrough to 6 figures. The only way you can have a breakthrough is by two methods: identifying your A plus setup, embracing larger sizing, or you scale up your AUM. So these are technically the only 3 ways you can look to have a breakthrough in terms of your trading performance. I'll give you one example. So within our trade club, we have the mentorship students, right? So a few of them are already consistently profitable, but they approach me with the mentality of, how can I have a breakthrough? Because they often are, they're capped at making, let's say, $4,000-5,000 a month, on average. So there will be times where at one point in your trading journey, if you are really good, if you are really disciplined, really consistent, you feel like, how can I potentially scale up the game? How can I level up? The only 3 ways you can level up is, first thing, like what I say, get better at knowing what's your A plus setup. For example, my A plus setup is when I have a signal plus trigger combo. I won't go deep into that, but that's something that we talk about within our trade club. So for full transparency purposes, so if you look into our trade club Telegram, you can actually see that we have lessons on how do you identify entry signal versus entry trigger, a workshop that I did on 2023 February, and also we have another video on November entry signal plus trigger, and we also have something called the combo, price positioning plus entry position. Utilize both of these as a combo to identify your A plus setup. So these are some of the things that I emphasize a lot when it comes to identifying what's a good setup, what's a bad setup. I do get a lot of comments, a lot of DMs telling me, hey, if I were to have a linear risk per trade system, can I really do it? That's the first question. Second thing is, I thought that the probability is even. Not exactly. If you today sitting here watching this video, you think by risking 1% static per trade is going to make you real money, as in terms of having breakthrough, really become a good trader. A good trader is defined when you know exactly what you're doing. When you have a static 1% risk per trade, that tells me one thing. First thing, you're a beginner. Second thing, you don't even know what's good and what's bad. Remember, the main reason why, the only reason why you're risking a static 1% per trade is because you have no clue of what's good and what's bad. I know every time when I share this concept, a lot of you might disagree, because you say, oh, probability is distributed evenly. Even if it's an A plus, it still has a chance of failure. Yes, but it has a higher chance of success. So you don't just think about the failure side. You have to think about, if let's say I have an A plus setup, then I clearly know it has a 90% chance of success based on my entry signal plus combo, based on various different confluences. That's when, of course, you have to press harder. If I today were to tell you, if you risk $10,000 today, you can potentially make $50,000, and the probability of success is 90%. Would you do it? you will do it. It's just like any business bets that I've made, any investments that I've made. If let's say today I invest in a restaurant and I clearly look at the balance sheet and I know, hey, the cash flow is pretty good. The net profit of the net profit of the restaurant is about 500k a year for the past 6 years, and I only invest $200,000. Would I do the business deal? Would I do the investment? I would do it because why? Because the probability of success is leaning towards me. So I have a high chance of success. Of course, I'm willing to take the risk. The same thing goes to trading. Trading is just like a business. When you hear some of the really highly profitable trader, they keep talking about trading as a business, trading a business. Have you ever questioned yourself, what does that really mean? It simply means the only way you can become profitable is when you start taking every single of your bets with a calculated assumption and of course calculated risk. That's when you really start becoming, a different level of trader. So back to it. So back to overtrading. So how can you manage overtrading? So it could be under what condition are you allowed to trade? Under what circumstance are you allowed to re-enter? Or under what condition are you not allowed to trade reversal? It could be as simple as that. People who deal with overtrading are just people that doesn't have any criteria. Second thing, they have a strong emotional attachment to the P&L. That's why when you lose one trade, you want to make it back. You lose the second trade, you go tilt, and then you start overtrading, you start revenge trading the market. Just remember this very simple sentence. We're not here to fight against the market. We're here to compete against ourselves. In order for you to become a profitable trader, you need to really learn how to separate the emotion side away from your edge. Because if you already have an edge and you occasionally sabotage your edge by overtrading, by over-risking, by bottom trading, you'll find yourself going nowhere. Because you basically just, you perform well for 6 months. There's 1-2 months where you perform really poorly because you have zero emotional management, and you give back majority of your P&L. So I want all of you to really think about what I say in the video. Remember, successful trading is about solving problems. The moment you start knowing how to solve problems, that's when you truly become a profitable trader. Alright, so that's also one of the biggest advice that I give to all my students, all my traders, or even my mentees is, sometimes you all see me, making 50k trade, 100k trade, but the reality is I'm just a normal trader. But what separates me from some of the struggling trader is I reverse engineer, and I spend a lot of time on review and most importantly reflecting. Alright, when you start spending time reviewing your journal and you keep looking to fine-tuning your edge and you keep solving problems, you fix one aspect by one aspect by one aspect, you realize, hey, trading is not so difficult. Right? Trading is not so stressful. It's easier. It's easier than you thought. Lots of time you just have knots. You just have something that you do not know how to untie it, or you just sort of lock yourself in a box of frustration, in a box of depression, because you simply do not know what to do. Alright, so yeah, that's it for the short video. I hope all of you learned something new. If you like the video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Sorry that my son actually came into my office. He just woke up. Anyway, I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye bye.